All right. So, good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Gediminas, and today we're going to share with you the second part of the training on what we've learned at the most powerful women in network marketing event. And one of the speakers at the network market at this conference was Kim Kiyosaki. Now, Kim Kiyosaki is the wife of Robert Kiyosaki, and Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the Cashflow Quadrant. So what I wanted to do, because Kim shared with us in Las Vegas this lesson, so for today's webinar, I wanted to share with you guys some of those concepts, because I believe that those concepts can really, really help you not only to understand why network marketing is a great business, but more than that, actually to help you to explain to somebody else. So when you're sitting with somebody and that person might not be very open to your network marketing business, that person might not be very keen, it's good to explain those things to somebody. And all you need to do is just have a piece of paper and a pen, and you can explain those things. So the first concept that Kim Kiyosaki shared was the concept of the cash flow quadrant. So if you've never heard of it, it's a great concept. So in the cash flow quadrant, we have four parts, four sides of the quadrant. So we have E, we have S, we have B, and we have I. So E stands for an employee, which is a lot of people, right? Most people have a job, so they work for somebody else. So they are an employee, right? They're working for an hourly job, hourly wage. Then we have S, which stands for self-employed. So let's say somebody worked as a dentist in a clinic, in a large clinic, so they were an employee. And then now they decided, you know what? I want to open my own dentist practice, so I'm going to work for myself. So they become an S, which is self-employed. So as a self-employed, they now have their own little practice, and they're working from there. Now, both E and S quadrants is when people are exchanging their time for money. So in both quadrants, E and S, the only way to earn more money is most of the time is to work more hours. So there is no leverage. You only get paid for your own time, so you're exchanging your time for money. The third quadrant is B, and that stands for big business. So in a business, you actually have leverage, and the leverage is other people's time. So in a big business, other people's time is earning you money. So if we stay with the dentist example, imagine you decided to open a practice. So let's say you open the premises and you employ 5 dentists to work in your practice, and you don't actually do the work. You just employ those people, and then you get a percentage of whatever the clients are paying. Now you have a business where you have a leverage of other people's time. So if you have a job right now, if you're working for somebody else, they are using your time. They're basically leveraging on your time. So if you get paid £10 an hour, then your employer probably is making 15 or 20 pounds an hour, right? This is how they can afford to pay you and still keep the business running, right? So that's the B quadrant. And then the I quadrant is where the money is making more money. So I stands for investment. So whether it's investment into stocks, into shares, into currencies, into real estate, whatever you choose to invest the money in, it's when the money is making you more money. Now, 95% of people are actually in the E and S quadrants, right? 95. That's not a very good drawing, but 95%, right? That should be a 9, right? And only 5% of people are in the B and I quadrants, right? However, 95% of wealth, of money, is actually on the right side of the quadrant. And only 5% of wealth is on the left side of the quadrant, where most people are. So if I had to ask you, if I asked you which side of the quadrant would you like to belong? Most people, of course, will go ahead and answer. They'll say, you know what, I'd like to be on the right side of the quadrant to make all that money, to have access to all of that wealth. But there's a slight problem. As you've noticed, if you decide to open a traditional business or you decide to become an investor, in both of these cases, you have to have a lot of money to get into that. So unless you have 50,000, 100,000 or more spare in your bank account to start up a traditional business or to buy a franchise business or to invest into stocks, shares, real estate and things like that, then it's going to be very difficult for you to access the right side of the quadrant. And that's why most people will stay all of their life in the E and S quadrants, exchanging their time for money, working more and more and more hours, getting tired, getting frustrated, etc., never becoming wealthy. But there is one way how you can get into the B quadrant, and that's, of course, network marketing. So network marketing also offers us the opportunity to be in the B quadrant, because when you on your own in network marketing, you're actually not a business owner. If you're just by yourself, you are actually an S, a self-employed, which means you sell products, you make money, but if you stop selling products, you stop earning money. However, when you start building a team, then you get into the B quadrant, because now you are leveraging other people's time, which means you introduce somebody into the business, you explain to them how it works, you train them, now they start doing the business, now there's 2 of you. They invite somebody else, now there's 3 of you, and so on and so on and so on. So you start earning on other people's time. And that is the ultimate business, where you no longer have to just rely on your own personal income. Like one of the first billionaires in the world, Jean-Paul Getty, said, I'd rather get paid 1% on 100 people's efforts than 100% on my own efforts, right? So it's important to understand it. So this is the cash flow quadrant. Okay, the second concept that I'd like to, that Kim explained, is actually 4 words. Let me just quickly draw this graph. So there's 4 words that you need to understand. One is income, which is money that comes into your bank account. The second word is expense. That is money that goes out of your account, right? Then another 2 concepts. Liability. And liability is something that is costing you money every single month. And asset. An asset is something that's making you money every single month, right? Now, these are the 4 concepts that you want to know, okay? Expense. Okay. And there's 3 groups of people. The first group of people are poor people. Now, you probably heard a saying that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. There's a reason for that, guy. It's true, but it is a reason for that. There's no, what you say, there's no, what's the word am I looking for? There's no secret plan behind, you know what I mean? It's just because of what they do. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you still hear me okay? Yes? No? If you can type in the chat if you guys can hear me okay, that would definitely help. Okay. Just let me know if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Hope you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Great sound. Okay, good. Okay. So, first group of people is poor people. Let me just mute this person. Okay, so first group of people is poor people. And poor people, they get income that comes in, right? So they have a job, they work all month, and the income comes into the bank account. But the problem is that as soon as that income comes in, all of that income straight away goes out the expense column. So they pay their bills, they pay their mortgage, they pay their rent, etc. And then with the rest of the money, they just spend it. They buy cheap stuff, they buy whatever they want, but they quickly spend all of that money. And basically, that's why they keep getting poorer, because all the money that comes in, they spend it all right away. The second group of people is middle class. Now, middle class usually have a better job. So they earn a little bit more money, right? So they get a little bit more money than the poor. And the middle class is what most people mistakenly think are the rich, but they're not. But they're just trying to look rich. So what happens is the middle class gets paid again from their job, and some of the money straight away goes into the expense column. But with the rest of the money, what the middle class does, they go and buy liabilities. So remember what is liability? Liability is something that is costing you money every single month. So the middle class will go ahead and buy that sports car that they don't really need, but they need to show off in front of the neighbor. Or they'll go and buy, different kind of things to impress other people. They'll go and buy an expensive Rolex watch on a credit card, or they'll go on a holiday on a credit card, and things like that. So what happens is they're buying things that will later start costing them money every single month into the expense column. So the more of these liabilities that they buy, the more stress they're getting. Because every month now they have to keep making more and more money, keep working and working, because all of these liabilities are costing them money every single month. The sports card, the credit card, the loans, the everything, right? And that's why middle class, they get stressed out. And then the third group of people is, of course, the rich. So rich people, like the poor, like the middle class, they also get paid, right? So the money comes into their income, right? Now, some of the money, again, like for everybody, the rich people also have to pay their bills, right? So their mortgage, their, gas, electricity, etc., etc. All of that goes. But with the remaining money, what the rich do, they buy assets. Now, remember what we said about the assets? Asset is something that is making you money every single month. So the rich will buy real estate, they'll buy property, they'll buy stocks, they'll buy shares, they'll buy bonds, they'll buy currency, they'll buy different kind of things or businesses that will make the money. So that money now, the asset will start making you more income, which you can use to buy more assets, which will make you more income. And this is how the rich keep getting richer, because they invest their money into passive income businesses or other ventures that can make them passive income. And guess what's one of the passive income businesses? It's network marketing. So again, by investing in a network marketing business, you can start getting this passive income return, which then you can use, because the money is coming into your income, you can use to invest even more. So I know network marketing is not like a traditional business. You don't need to invest 50,000 or 100,000 pounds into it, etc. But there's still space for you to invest. So for example, you can invest in products. Let's say this month you worked hard in your job and you got 100 pounds or 200 pounds extra, right? So you use that 200 pounds to invest into your network marketing business, and you buy some products for 200 pounds, right? You go and sell those products, and now you got 300 pounds because you made profit on those products. Now you can go back, buy products for 300 pounds, sell those products, now you have 400 pounds. Go back. You get what I'm saying, right? So by investing back into your business, you can multiply that money by selling the products or by building your business, right? Exactly the same way you can be investing in yourself. Maybe you earn some extra money. Now you can invest maybe in a book. Maybe you can invest in a training course. Maybe you can invest into audio program and so on. We went to Las Vegas. It was an investment, but it was investment into ourselves. Because by going there, by learning, by meeting these $1 million earners, etc., we are learning more so we can get better at making more money in our business, right? So again, this is an important concept, you know, the income, expense, liability, and asset. When you're talking to somebody who's never done any business before in their life, it might be a good idea to explain the cash flow quadrant that I shared at the beginning and this concept to people so that they start understanding why would somebody build a passive income business. The other thing that's quite clever and worth mentioning is the way that the traditional corporate structure is made. So if you look at a traditional company, let's say the company you work with, at the very top, you have CEO, right? Or the owner, right? So it's the person who runs the company, they own this company. Then the second group is directors, right? So you might have 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, directors, vice directors, and things like that, right? So again, a couple of people who are directors. Then under them, you'll have managers, right? So you'll have more managers, right? Okay, managers, okay? Then under managers, you have another group of people, larger group of people. They'll be the supervisors or the team leaders and so on, right? Supers, right? And then finally, the biggest mass of people in the company is, of course, the worker bees, the workers, right? Now, if you choose to go the traditional route and you decide to climb the corporate ladder, right? Which means you'll start at the bottom, somewhere here, right? So you start as a worker, and now you have to climb all the way to the top. Now, there's few problems with that. One is that every position in this matrix is already taken. Every position is already taken, which means that in order for you to get the supervisor's job or the manager's job or director's job or CEO's job, they either have to quit or die. That's how you get their job, right? Not very easy. Not a very easy plan, guys, right? So that's a challenge because every single position is already taken. So for you to progress, somebody has to move away or something like that. So it can be a long wait. And at the end of the day, if somebody is a CEO, they started this company, they own this company, what's the chance that one day they'll say, well, you can have my company. You can just take it. There's no chance. Most of the time, you will never get that position. You might get to director or whatever, but you'll never be the owner, right? Now, let's take a look at network marketing on the other side, right? Well, network marketing, the structure will be the same because the structure is the same in everything, in the companies, in churches, every organizational structure is as a triangle, right? Or the pyramid, right? But in network marketing, on the other hand, you start here. You start at the top instead of starting at the bottom. So in a normal company, you start at the bottom and you have to work your way up. In network marketing, you start here and you build your team. You build your organization. So you don't have to start at the bottom. And also, unlike in the traditional corporate structure where there's usually just one CEO, just one owner, in a network marketing company, there's no limit by how many diamonds there can be. There's no limit by how many leaders there can be. There can be as many leaders as you want, right? So it's not limited, right? It's not like a traditional company where there can be only so many directors. There can only be so many CEOs. In a network marketing organization, there's no limit by how many people at a particular rank there can be. There can be 1,000 diamonds and there's no problem because they're all producing and they're all making money to the company so the company can pay them. Again, very, very, very good to understand, right? And then the final concept that I wanted to share with you today, and I was reminded today of that concept, is the pipeline example. Now, I don't know how many of you have actually seen the video about the Pablo and what was the other one? I don't even remember what's the other name. Anyway, it's a story about pipeline. So, and it's a good example because it gets people thinking about how different kinds of income is made. So the story goes like that. There was a village, right? So there was a village here with little houses, etc. a village where people were living, but they didn't have water, right? And this is like a mountain, right? But then there was another mountain here where there was a lake with water, right? And there was a path going from the lake down the hill and all the way up to the village, right? So there's a path. Bruno, that's the second name, Pablo and Bruno. So the mayor of the village said, okay, we're gonna employ 2 people to carry the water from the lake to the village along this path. And we will pay them money on the amount of water that they carry. So both Pablo and Bruno, they're very happy, great, they're gonna start making money. So they start going up and down with 2 buckets from the mountain to the village, from the village to the water, from the water to the village, and so on and so on and so on. But of course, after doing this job for a couple of days, couple of weeks, they start getting tired, they start getting sore, etc. But you see, Pablo doesn't care about getting tired. He's just excited, you know, that he's making money every time he's carrying water. So he's starting to think, you know, maybe I need to get bigger buckets, you know, so that I can carry more water. Maybe I should run faster, you know, every single day to make more money, because he wants to buy a cow and he wants to buy a bigger house. And he's already got this mind on the target. He knows what he wants to buy, what he wants to get with this money, etc. So he's excited. He can't wait to, you know, just to work. But Bruno, on the other hand, is sitting there thinking, hang on a second, this is getting quite tiring. You know, my back is hurting, my hands are hurting, you know, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this. So he decides, why not build a pipeline that would go from the water to the village, right? Why not build a pipeline that would just carry the water? So he makes this plan and he goes to Pablo. He goes, Pablo, look, I've got an idea to do this. And Pablo just says, nah, complete nonsense. I just want to carry the water because this will slow me down. If I have to build the pipeline, then I can't carry as much water. That's going to slow me down. So that's not a good idea. I want to keep carrying the water because that's paying me money. Otherwise, I'm going to have to wait. Now, Bruno decides to go ahead and still build the pipeline. So Bruno is still carrying the water from the lake to the village 5 days a week, right? But on his weekends, he starts building this pipeline, right? And at the beginning, he's doing a lot of work, you know, but there's nothing seen. And the other villages are laughing at him, saying, oh, they start calling him the pipeline Bruno, you know, and they start laughing at him because they don't believe that it's going to work out. But Bruno keeps doing it. He keeps carrying the water, you know, Monday to Friday. But on the weekend, he starts building this pipeline bit by bit, right? And a year goes by, and he's still building it. He's still building it. 2 years go by, you know, and they both now feeling, you know, tired from carrying these buckets of water. And Pablo, who was very excited about carrying water at the beginning, now he starts carrying less and less because he's getting more and more tired. So it's difficult for him to carry on carrying, you know, full buckets of water. But Bruno keeps building this pipeline. He keeps building this pipeline. And in the end, after about 3 years or so, his pipeline is finished. He turns it on, and the water just starts flowing and making him money, right? So the water is just flowing, and it's just making him more and more money. And now Bruno is no longer carrying the buckets. He's in the Bahamas, you know, by the palm tree, you know, on a holiday. You know, he's doing whatever he wants, and the money is still being made because his pipeline is carrying the water to the village. Whereas Pablo is now super tired, and he still has to keep walking with these couple of buckets, which is complete waste of his time, and it's becoming more and more difficult for him to make the money. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that when it comes to building a home-based business, starting a home-based business, 1, it's not easy. 2, a lot of people might laugh at you, might not understand what you're doing, and might say, it's a waste of time, it's never going to work out, etc. 3, it takes time. So, you know, if you have a normal, you know, 9-to-5 job and you decide to build your home-based business, it's not going to start making you a lot of money just like that. At the beginning, actually, you're putting a lot of work and a lot of effort, and it looks like you're not making anything. Same like Pablo, same like Bruno. You know, he was building this pipeline for 3 years, and for 3 years for that work, he wasn't paid until the pipeline started delivering the water to the village. So same way in your home-based business, when you start building your home-based business, it's not going to give you a lot of money. You're not going to see many results, and it might be discouraging, and you might be thinking of quitting it a lot of the times. But what's the lesson? The lesson is, if carry on doing your job, you know, your Monday to Friday job, but if you build your business over the weekends, one day that pipeline will be built. One day your team will grow to where your team is starting to produce you passive income every single month, whether you're working or not. But you see, most people never do that. Most people will carry on carrying these 2 buckets for the rest of their life, working Monday to Friday, and never making it. Never making enough money, always struggling, always not enough. You know what I mean? So that's, again, a very, very important concept for you to wrap your brain around this pipeline story, and to think about, how can I build my pipeline? What is going to be your pipeline? And I bet you network marketing is one of the best ways for you to build that pipeline that's going to be making money while you sleep. One of the richest people in the world, Warren Buffett, said, unless you figure out how to make money in your sleep, you will work until you die. Now, I don't know how many of you fancy working until you die. Definitely don't want to do that. That's why, for me, I want to build a team all over the world. You know, now I have team members in Australia, in America, in Indonesia, in different countries, so that literally, because when it's nighttime here, it's daytime there, and when it's daytime here, there's nighttime there, literally, I'm starting to make money in my sleep. Because some mornings I wake up, I open my back office, and I go, oh, new people in the team. Oh, more points in the team. You know, it's more than when I went to sleep, right? Which means I made some money in my sleep. And that's exciting, guys. That is exciting. That is the pipeline, right? And I haven't stopped building my pipeline. I'm still building my pipeline, but that's the idea, guys. You know, at the beginning, you do a lot of work and you don't see much money. But later you see much money, then you don't need to do a lot of work. So that's the lessons for today. I hope you guys got some value from this. If you did, later on there will be a replay, so you can recommend it to some of your friends to watch it. Let me just stop sharing here.